You don't remember waking up. You don't remember falling asleep either. All you remember is the silence. A soft, deep silence, so gentle that it felt as if the whole world was holding its breath. And in the middle of that silence, you found yourself standing at the edge of a forest you had never seen before. A glowing, quiet, impossibly beautiful forest. At first, you simply stare. Moonlight hangs over the leaves, like silver dust, drifting softly, coating everything with a gentle shine. The trees rise tall, ancient and warm. Not scary, not dark, but peaceful, like old giants guarding a secret world. The air is cool but comforting, carrying the delicate scent of night blossoms. And then you hear it, a whisper, soft, faint, calling your name as if the night itself knew you. You turn slowly, expecting someone behind you, but there is no one. Only that soft, shimmering path in front of you, a path of faint white light stretching deep into the trees. Something inside you shifts, a feeling you cannot explain. It's not fear, it's not confusion, it's something else entirely. A gentle pull, a quiet invitation. Like the forest is opening its hand and saying, "Come, walk, rest, breathe." You take a step forward. The ground under your feet feels warm, almost alive. The moment you enter the path, the whisper fades, not gone, but becoming a soft hum, like the forest is singing in the background. And then something happens that makes you forget the real world entirely. The leaves above your head begin to glow, not bright, not blinding, just a calm, slow, breathing glow, expanding and shrinking like the forest itself is alive and dreaming. You lift your hand, and tiny particles of silver drift down, settling on your skin like floating stars. They don't burn. They don't sting. They simply melt into your skin, warm and comforting. A strange peace fills your chest. You don't know where you are. You don't know how you got here. But for the first time in a long time, you feel safe. Deeply, completely, wonderfully safe. You take another step, then another, and another. The forest grows thicker, yet brighter. The silence grows deeper, yet softer. And you begin to feel something you haven't felt in years. Wonder. Pure, childlike wonder. As if the world you forgot long ago has returned just to greet you. You run your fingers along a tree trunk. It feels warm, like the bark has stored sunlight for centuries. Tiny glowing veins run beneath its surface, like soft lines of light. You whisper, without knowing why, "Is this real?" And the tree responds, not with words, but with a faint pulse of warm light beneath your fingertips. You smile softly. You don't know it yet, but this is the moment your journey begins. Not a dream, not a fantasy, but something in between. Something only meant for those who find this forest when their heart is tired. You walk deeper. The soft crunch of leaves under your feet matches your breathing. The forest begins to hum in a low, soothing rhythm, guiding each step you take. Left foot, right foot, slow, peaceful, gentle. The world you left behind doesn't matter anymore. The noise, the stress, the worries, all fade into distant memories. Here, in this glowing forest, every worry unravels. Every breath becomes easier. Every step becomes lighter. Your shoulders relax. Your eyes soften. Your mind begins to quiet. It feels like walking inside a dream that understands you. A place that knows exactly what you need. You notice soft, tiny lights floating through the air. Small, glowing creatures like fireflies, but slower, calmer. They drift around you gracefully, circling your path, lighting your way as though they've been waiting for your arrival. One of them floats close to your face. It's no bigger than your thumb, but shaped like a drop of golden light. It hovers in front of you, silent and gentle, as though studying you with curiosity. You raise your hand slowly. The light drop lands softly on your palm. Warm, feather light, alive. It pulses once, glowing brighter for a moment. And then more lights gather, forming a soft trail ahead of you. They want you to follow, and you do. You walk deeper into the magical forest, your steps guided by these floating lights. The path becomes even more mesmerizing. Tiny blue flowers open softly as you walk by, glowing for just a second before dimming again. It feels as if the forest is waking up with every step you take. You inhale. The air tastes like night rain and sweet herbs. You exhale. Your breath releases the heaviness you didn't even realize you were carrying. And then the whisper returns. Not frightening, not strange, just calm, comforting, like someone speaking from far away. Through layers of soft wind. Keep walking. You pause, but the lights continue drifting ahead, as though assuring you that you're safe, that you're meant to be here. You follow. The deeper you go, the more the forest begins to transform. The trees grow taller, their trunks glowing with faint patterns like ancient runes. Their leaves shimmer like silver feathers. Moss on the ground glows a soft turquoise, guiding your steps with gentle light. You touch a branch as you pass. It bends toward you, like a friendly creature greeting an old friend. You whisper, "This place feels alive." And again, the forest responds, not with sound, but with warmth, like it's agreeing with you. For a moment, you close your eyes. You listen. You breathe. The quiet is perfect. Not empty, just peaceful. Soft wind moves through the glowing leaves, creating a gentle, soothing music. Insects hum lazily. Distant water trickles somewhere far away. Everything blends into one calming melody. Your heart slows. Your thoughts settle. Your body becomes lighter. You feel like you could walk forever. Then, you see it. A clearing. A circular space where the trees open up, allowing the moonlight to spill in like liquid silver. The grass here glows faintly blue. At the center of the clearing stands a small stone pedestal covered in vines. But it's the object resting on the pedestal that makes you stop breathing for a moment. A glowing orb the size of an apple. Soft golden light, pulsing slowly, like a heartbeat. Your heartbeat. You take a hesitant step forward. The orb brightens. You take another. The forest falls completely silent, as if watching. Your breath feels warm. Your fingers tingle. The air around the orb hums softly, like the moment before lightning, but without fear. You reach out. Your hand stops a few inches away. The orb pulls slightly toward you, like it recognizes you. And then, just as her fingertips touch the surface, the entire forest exhales. A soft wind bursts outward, gentle but powerful, lifting your hair and clothes, filling the clearing with swirling particles of light. The orb glows brighter, 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 and suddenly, a memory flashes through your mind. A memory you don't recognize. A door made of stars. A voice calling you through it. A long journey. A promise. A name you forgot. A place you once belonged to. You gasp softly. The orb dims again. The forest quiets. Everything returns to calm. You step back slowly, breathing deeply, trying to understand what just happened. But before you can think further, the whisper returns, louder this time. Not frightening, not dangerous, just clear. You've returned. You freeze. Your heart beats in your throat. Returned. Returned from where? Returned to what? And who is speaking? But the whisper does not explain. It simply fades back into the trees, gentle as before. The path behind the pedestal begins to glow, an invitation, a direction. You know, deep in your heart, that walking forward will reveal answers. Not all at once, not immediately, but slowly, gently, like a story unfolding inside a dream. You inhale deeply. The forest seems to inhale with you. You exhale slowly. The forest breathes with you again. And with calm steps, feeling lighter than you felt in years, you continue forward into the glowing path. Unaware that this peaceful night walk will change everything you know about yourself and the world you thought you belonged to. The moment you leave the clearing behind, the forest shifts again. Not suddenly, not sharply, but gently, like a long, slow breath. The light along the path brightens. The glowing moss deepens its color, and the soft floating lights return, drifting in slow circles around you, as though welcoming you back to a place you once knew. Your steps fall quietly. Left, right, left, right. Each footstep feels like sinking into warm clouds. The ground is impossibly soft, as if the forest doesn't want to disturb your body with hardness or cold. The moment your foot touches the earth, the moss glows softly beneath it, then fades again as you lift your foot. It looks like you're walking on light, and the forest remembers each step. You don't know how long you've been walking, maybe minutes, maybe hours, but time feels different here. Unimportant, gentle, stretched wider and softer than you're used to. The forest doesn't rush you. It lets you move at your own pace. The air grows warmer. A faint breeze brushes your face, carrying the scent of night flowers, sweet, soft, comforting. The flowers themselves begin appearing along the path, delicate blue petals that open whenever you draw near, releasing small particles of shimmering dust that drift upward like tiny stars. One lands on your sleeve. It flickers gently, then melts into light. You whisper to yourself, "This place feels like a dream." The wind answers with a soft sigh, brushing through your hair. You walk further, and the trees begin to change. Their trunks widen, stretching high like pillars of ancient temples. Their branches twist above you, forming natural arches that look carved rather than grown. Some trunks have patterns, swirling lines, repeating shapes, like stories scratched into their bark. They look familiar, not from your world, not from any forest you know, but familiar in a deeper way, a way you cannot explain. Your fingertips brush the patterns. The tree glows softly. A pulse moves through it, slow, warm, like a sleeping heartbeat. Suddenly, an image flickers inside your mind. A tall gate made of living wood. A long bridge lit by lanterns. A night sky filled with floating islands. You inhale sharply. Your hand falls away from the tree. The image fades, but the feeling it leaves behind doesn't. A feeling like remembering something you should have never forgotten. You continue walking, slower now, more aware, more curious, more connected to the forest with every breath. The floating lights drift lower, forming a loose circle around you. They drift forward, gently guiding you deeper in. They seem to move with intention, not randomly, not lazily, but purposefully, as if they've been given a task. Guide the traveler. Show them the way. You follow. The path narrows slightly, curving to the right. As you turn the bend, you hear it. A soft, distant sound of water. Not waves, not a river. More like a steady, gentle trickle. A quiet whisper of water moving over smooth stone. You walk toward it, and the sound grows clearer, warmer, closer. You push aside a curtain of glowing vines and enter one of the most peaceful places you have ever seen. A small stream runs through the forest, glowing faintly like melted moonlight. The water glides over stones so smooth they look polished, forming tiny ripples that shimmer like silver threads. The stream bends gently, disappearing between two large stones, and a thin mist rises from where the water sinks underground. The mist glows with subtle colors, soft blues, pale violets, gentle golds, drifting in the air like floating dreams. You step closer. The water pulls your attention immediately, not with fear, not with danger, but with calmness. You kneel beside it and dip your fingers into the stream. The water is warm, not hot, not cold, just perfectly warm, exactly the temperature your body finds comforting. As your fingers sink into it, a tingling spreads across your skin, dissolving tension you didn't even realize you were holding. Your arms relax, your shoulders loosen, your breathing deepens naturally. You close your eyes. For a moment, the world becomes nothing but the sound of water moving, the glowing mist drifting, and your heartbeat slowing into a peaceful rhythm. You feel as though the forest is healing you, quietly, gently, patiently. When you open your eyes again, you see something in the water. Not your reflection, not your face, something else, something strange. Your reflection looks softer, calmer, but behind it, deep in the water, a second shape shimmers faintly. Not a creature, not a person, a symbol. A glowing mark, circular, with lines branching out like roots or rays of light. It pulses softly, echoing the beat of your heart. As you stare, the symbol begins to shift, slowly, smoothly, like it's alive. You blink, and the symbol vanishes. The water becomes clear again. You exhale. What was that? Your own whisper feels too loud for the quiet surrounding you. You dip your fingers again. The water glows brighter, wrapping your hand in gentle warmth, almost like a greeting. You pull your hand back slowly. The floating lights gather again, swaying side to side, their soft movement inviting you to continue your journey. You rise to your feet and follow. The stream flows beside you now, moving in the same direction. The path widens again, curving deeper into the heart of the forest. The trees become taller still, their branches filled with faintly glowing fruit. Round, translucent spheres that sway gently in the breeze. One falls softly onto the ground ahead of you, landing without a sound. Curious, you pick it up. The fruit is warm, glowing from within. Its surface is smooth like glass, but soft like jelly. When you gently press it, the inside brightens for a moment, as though reacting to your touch. You lift it closer, watching the light shift and swirl inside like a miniature galaxy. Without warning, the swirling light forms an image, a path, a large tree with a doorway carved into its trunk, a lake reflecting stars, a long bridge made of glowing branches. You freeze. This isn't random. This is a memory, not yours, not entirely, but connected to you somehow. The image fades. The fruit dims. You place it back gently on the forest floor. The floating lights circle you slowly, as if whispering secrets you cannot hear. You walk again. The forest begins to feel different, deeper, older. The glow becomes richer, the colors more layered. You notice flowers that open only when you pass, vines that move out of your way just before you touch them, leaves that lower like soft curtains to protect the path from falling mist. Everything moves with you. Everything moves for you, as though the forest knows you, as though it has been waiting. You reach a fork in the path. Two directions, left and right. Both glow. Both feel warm and welcoming. But the right path holds a faint shimmer, a soft, rhythmic pulse you felt earlier. The same rhythm as the orb, the same rhythm as the symbol in the stream. Your heartbeat. The decision feels natural. You take the right path. The air becomes warmer again, and the forest becomes quieter. The floating lights drift closer, forming a soft trail that glides inches above the ground. And then, without warning, the whisper returns. Not faint this time, not distant, clear, close, right beside your ear. Don't be afraid. You stop walking. Your breath trembles for a moment. Not in fear, in recognition. The voice feels familiar, like someone you once knew. Someone gentle, someone important. You look around slowly. Nothing moves. The trees stand still. The leaves shimmer softly but remain calm. The stream beside you continues flowing quietly. Yet the voice lingers in the air like a warm memory. You whisper back, "What are you? Who are you?" There is no answer, only the gentle hum of the forest. You sigh softly, not scared, just curious, deeper than before. You continue walking. With every step, the whisper grows softer again, fading into the trees. Soon, the path widens into another clearing, not as bright as the first, but more intimate, as though made for one traveler alone. In the center of this clearing stands something impossible. A bridge, but not like any bridge you know. This one is made of living branches, woven together, glowing faintly, suspended between two large stones. The branches pulse with soft light, bending gently like they're breathing. Under the bridge lies no river, no water, only thick, glowing mist, moving slowly, swirling in patterns, glowing in shades of silver and pale gold. The bridge stretches forward into darkness, disappearing between two massive tree trunks. You step closer. The bridge brightens slightly, responding to your presence. You place one foot on the first plank. It is warm, gentle, alive. You step onto the bridge completely. The branches adjust beneath you, not shaking, not cracking, just shifting softly to hold your weight, shaping themselves around your feet. You walk, slowly, carefully. The mist below swirls, creating a calm, soothing rhythm with your steps. Left, right, left, right. With every step, the darkness ahead thins. The glow increases. A warm breeze drifts from the other side. And then, halfway across the bridge, something unbelievable happens. You hear footsteps. Soft, light, careful, but not yours. Someone else walking toward you from the other side. Your heart slows, not in fear, but in a strange anticipation you can't explain. You keep walking, breathing softly, the glow around you brightening with each step. The footsteps grow clearer, and then, at the far end of the bridge, a shape appears. A silhouette, tall, calm, glowing faintly like the forest. Your breath catches. The figure steps forward, slowly, peacefully, with no threat, no danger, only warmth. As they move closer, the glowing mist beneath the bridge brightens, lighting their path. Your heartbeat echoes the forest's soft hum. The figure stops a few steps away, not too close, not too far, just enough that you can feel the warmth radiating from them. They lift their head. Your breath stops. It's a face you almost recognize, a face you feel connected to, a face glowing with soft, peaceful light. And then, in the same gentle voice you've been hearing, they speak. You finally made it back. The voice is perfect and conducive. The storm outside grew louder, but inside the cabin, Sarah could hear something else. A whisper. Not the wind, not the rain, not the old wooden walls. It was a voice inside the room. She slowly turned her head toward the dark corner near the window. At first, she saw nothing, just the shadows, deep, still, silent. But then, the shadow moved, not like a person, not like an animal, It moved like smoke, learning how to breathe. Sarah froze. Her heartbeat was slow and deep, like someone knocking on the inside of her chest. Then, the shadow spoke again, very softly, very clearly. Sarah. Her entire body went cold. That thing, whatever it was, knew her name. "Who's there?" she whispered, her voice shaking. No answer, just the shifting of darkness, slow, deliberate, like it was watching her think. She took a step back. The shadow took a step forward. Except it didn't walk. It glided, smooth, silent, soundless. The lantern dimmed, as if the shadow was drinking the light out of the air. Her breath caught in her throat. "Don't come closer," she whispered. The shadow tilted its head, curious, almost playful. Then she heard a second whisper, right behind her ear. "You shouldn't have returned to this forest." Her blood turned to ice. She spun around. No one was there. But the door behind her began to creak open, not pushed by wind, not by a person. It opened slowly, invitingly, as if something was waiting outside. Something patient, something old, something that had been waiting for her. Sarah backed away from the door, but the shadow in the corner whispered again. "Come outside, Sarah. He's waiting." Her heart hammered harder. "Who is waiting?" she whispered. The lantern flickered violently. Shadows stretched and twisted like long fingers crawling across the floor. And then the voice answered, not from one direction, not from one mouth, from everywhere, from the walls, from the floorboards, from the ceiling. "The one you left behind." Sarah felt the world tilt, her vision blurred.
Who's there?
Her knees weakened, because she knew exactly who that meant. Someone she never talked about. Someone she never wanted to remember. Someone she thought this forest had swallowed years ago. A name she hadn't spoken since she was a child. Her brother, Daniel. But Daniel had disappeared in these woods. Everyone believed he was dead. Yet the shadow whispered his name as if he were alive, as if he were near, as if he were just outside the cabin door. Thunder cracked so loud the wood shook. The lantern died. Darkness swallowed the room whole, and in the blackness, a small hand touched Sarah's shoulder, a child's hand, cold, still, too familiar. Then a voice she knew better than her own whispered, "You left me here." That small, cold hand on her shoulder, that familiar voice, that whisper she thought she would never hear again. It couldn't be real. It shouldn't be real. Her breath trembled out of her lungs. Slowly, terrified, she turned her head. There was no light, no shape, no body. But the hand stayed on her shoulder. Fingers thin, skin cold like winter water, grip soft, but strong enough to hold her still. Then the voice she remembered from childhood, spoke again, this time closer. "You left me, and you never came back." Her chest tightened. This wasn't possible. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice cracking. The room was silent. The hand slowly slid down her arm, not in anger, not in love, but in a slow, dragging motion, as if testing the feeling of her skin. Her heart pounded so loudly, she could barely hear the rain. "Daniel," she whispered again, louder this time. That's when she heard it, a soft breath right in front of her face. So close she could feel it, so close she could smell something. The damp, earthy smell of the forest floor. Then, a child's faint silhouette began to appear in the darkness. Not from the lantern, not from moonlight. It formed out of the shadow itself. First, the outline of a small head, then thin shoulders, then two dark, hollow eyes that stared directly at her. Eyes that did not blink. Eyes that remembered her. Sarah stumbled backward, nearly falling. But the shadow child followed, silent, slow, its feet not touching the ground. Why are you here? Sarah whispered.
Who's there?
The silhouette tilted its head, not with curiosity, with disappointment. You promised you would come back. Sarah felt tears burn in her eyes. She hadn't come back. She had been a child, scared, lost, dragged away by adults from the forest the night her brother disappeared. She had screamed his name for hours. No one found him, and she never forgave herself. I didn't leave you, she whispered painfully. I couldn't find you. The shadow child shook its head slowly. And then the voice changed. It wasn't a child's voice anymore. It wasn't Daniel's voice. It was something deeper, older, something that lived inside the forest long before they were born. He cried for you until the trees swallowed him. Sarah's legs nearly gave out. What do you mean? She whispered. The shadow child lifted its hand and pointed at the door that had opened by itself. Rain poured outside. Wind howled. The night was a moving wall of darkness. Come, the voice said. He is waiting. Sarah's hands shook. No, I can't. I don't know what's out there. The shadow child's hollow eyes stared deeper into her soul. You came to find him. Now he wants to find you. Something outside the cabin stepped on a branch. A heavy footstep. Then another. Slow, crushing, deliberate. Something big. Something breathing. Something alive. The shadow child's head snapped toward the door as if listening to it move. Then it whispered, "He's here." The footsteps grew louder, closer, right outside. Sarah felt her throat close. Her heart stopped. The doorknob began to turn, very slowly, very carefully, as if whoever, or whatever, was on the other side already knew she was waiting. The metal doorknob turned so slowly that every tiny squeak felt like a knife sliding across Sarah's spine. She couldn't breathe. She couldn't blink. Her eyes stayed locked on that door, on the shadow moving underneath it, on the heavy breathing outside. The shadow child stood beside her, its hollow eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "It's him," it whispered. "He wants to see you." Sarah shook her head violently. No, Daniel was small. He was 8 years old. That thing outside, it's big. The silhouette did not move, did not argue. The forest changes us. Suddenly, thump. Something large slammed into the door. Sarah jumped back, hitting the table behind her. The lantern on the table flickered weakly, trying to light up, but it couldn't. Something heavy pressed against the wood from outside. Slow, steady, powerful. It wasn't trying to break the door. Not yet. It was testing it. The shadow child whispered, "He has waited so long." Another thump shook the hinges. Dust fell from the ceiling. Sarah felt her hands shaking. Her voice barely escaped. "What does he want?" The silhouette smiled, a slow, unnatural smile that stretched too far. "You." The doorknob spun faster, too fast. Something outside growled, a deep, wet sound like an animal with a broken throat. Sarah staggered backward again, knocking over a chair. She wanted to run, she wanted to scream, but her entire body refused to move. The cabin filled with a cold, heavy tension, like the air itself was waiting. Then everything went silent. No wind, no footsteps, nothing. The silence lasted 5 long seconds. Then a whisper came through the crack under the door. Not a child's voice, not a human voice. A voice that sounded like soil speaking. "Sarah, let me in." She felt tears sliding down her cheeks. No, this isn't real." The shadow child stepped closer to her. "You can't run from family," it whispered. She backed away until her spine hit the wall. The child's shadow flickered, then changed shape, stretching, twisting, growing taller and taller and taller until its head nearly touched the ceiling. It wasn't a child anymore. It wasn't Daniel. The voice came from everywhere around her. He's hungry. Suddenly, crack, the doorframe split. A black hand, long, thin with fingers too many, and a wrist bent the wrong way, slid through the crack. The hand opened slowly, reaching for her, searching the air, feeling the room, smelling her fear. The door creaked wider. The shape outside leaned forward. Sarah saw a face, but only for a second. A pale face, with no eyes and a mouth stretched into a wide, silent scream. Then the forest wind roared behind it. The creature whispered Daniel's voice, "You left me." Then the door burst open. The door exploded inward with a sharp crack, slamming against the cabin wall, so hard that splinters flew through the air like tiny knives. Rain burst inside. Cold wind swept across Sarah's face. And then, it stepped in. A tall, twisted figure stood in the doorway. Its body was thin, like dry branches tied together. Its skin was pale and stretched too tight, like it didn't belong to it. Its long arms hung so low that its fingers nearly touched the floor. But the worst part, its face. It had no eyes, just smooth, empty skin. Yet, she still felt it looking at her, staring straight into her soul. Slowly, very slowly, the creature lifted its head. The skin where its eyes should have been wrinkled as if it was trying to blink. Then its mouth opened, wider, wider, too wide to be human. And from that mouth came the soft, trembling voice of a little boy. Sarah. Her heart twisted in pain. It sounded exactly like Daniel. Exactly. Daniel. She whispered, terrified and hopeful at the same time. The creature tilted its head. The mouth snapped shut. For a moment, the cabin was silent, except for the rain. Then the creature took its first step inside. The floor creaked loudly. Its second step was slower, careful, listening to how the wood responded under its weight. Its head layered, as if smelling the air, as if smelling her. Sarah covered her mouth with her hand. She tried not to breathe. She tried not to move. But the creature moved anyway. It followed her scent. Step, step, step. Soft, heavy, patient. Behind her, the shadow child spoke again. He wants you to finish what you started. Sarah turned toward it. Her voice shook. What did I start? I was a child. The shadow tilted its head. The night he disappeared, you ran. That's not true, she cried. I tried to find him. I screamed for hours. The creature paused. Its head twitched. Once, then twice. Like her voice triggered a memory. It slowly raised its long, thin hand, the same hand that had reached under the door. It touched the side of its own face and dragged its fingers down the skin. Hard, too hard. The pale skin peeled, and beneath it, Sarah saw something. Something small, something fragile, something terrible. An eye, a child's eye. Brown, soft, full of sadness. It blinked. Once, twice, and a broken whisper escaped the creature's mouth. Sarah, why didn't you come back? Her knees buckled. She dropped to the floor, shaking. I didn't know how. I didn't know the way back. I was taken home. I was 8 years old. The cabin lights flickered. The creature's body twitched violently, like it was fighting something inside itself. Some part of it wanted to reach her. Another part of it wanted to kill her. The shadow child whispered behind her ear. He remembers the forest taking him. He remembers calling your name until his voice vanished. Sarah covered her face with her trembling hands. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. The creature suddenly screamed. Not human, not animal. A sound like metal tearing. Its long arm shot forward. lightning fast, and grabbed the table beside her. Wood shattered. Pieces flew. It wasn't aiming for the table. It had missed her by inches. Then the creature slowly turned its faceless head toward her again and charged. Sarah's heart pounded so hard she thought it might burst. The creature barreled toward her, its long arms stretched unnaturally, grasping at the air as though it could pull her into its own shadow. But before it reached her, the shadow child stepped forward. Its shape shimmered, morphing rapidly, glowing faintly in the darkness. It raised its thin hand. "Stop," it whispered. The creature froze mid-step. A strange tension filled the air. The rain outside slowed. The wind softened, and the shadows seemed to bend toward the child. "You cannot take her here," the shadow child said. The creature trembled, its faceless head tilting. A faint, pained whine escaped from its mouth. "She left me." The voice, fragile and broken, cut through the room like glass. "No," Sarah whispered, her voice shaking. "I didn't leave you. I never forgot you. I searched for you. The creature's body shivered violently. It turned toward the open doorway, and then it vanished. Not like it ran, not like it walked, like the forest swallowed it whole. The shadows in the room melted into darkness. The rain stopped pounding. The wind outside quieted. The cabin felt still. Sarah fell to her knees, her hands trembling. The shadow child hovered in front of her, its hollow eyes softening. "He will return," it whispered. "But not tonight. Tonight, you must rest." "Rest," Sarah repeated, bewildered. "My brother, the forest. What is happening?" The shadow child's shape softened. Its voice was almost gentle. "This forest remembers, and it remembers you. Tonight, you have seen what you must see. Tomorrow, the journey continues." Sarah's eyes drooped. Her body shook from the adrenaline, fear, and sadness. She wanted to ask more. She wanted answers. But every word seemed trapped in her throat. The shadow child's form shimmered, then slowly faded. The room fell into darkness again. Calm, quiet, almost peaceful. Sarah crawled to the bed, wrapped herself in the thin blanket. The lantern lay shattered on the floor, a faint glow from the broken glass illuminating the walls. She closed her eyes. For the first time in hours, maybe years, she allowed herself to breathe. And as sleep slowly took her, she heard a whisper once more. "You are not alone. We are waiting for you in the forest." Her heart slowed. Her mind softened. Her body melted into the mattress. Outside, the forest remained alive. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying the faint, broken voice of a boy. Waiting, remembering, and somewhere in the depths of the dark woods, the forest pulsed with life, watching, breathing, patiently waiting for Sarah to return again. When Sarah woke, the world was quiet. The cabin felt untouched, peaceful, almost ordinary. The rain had stopped. The air smelled of wet earth and soft green moss. She sat up slowly, her muscles stiff, but her mind surprisingly clear. The events of the previous night felt unreal, like a dream, yet a dream that left a mark on her soul. The shadow child was gone. The broken lantern lay on the floor. But outside the window, she saw something new. The forest, bathed in soft morning light. The trees glowed faintly. The leaves shimmered with a silver-green hue. The path she had seen last night stretched forward, inviting, alive. She hesitated. A part of her wanted to run back to safety, to forget. But something deeper, an almost magnetic pull, called her forward. Taking a deep breath, she stepped outside. The grass was wet, soft under her feet. Tiny blue flowers opened as she brushed past them. The floating lights from the previous night hovered nearby, dancing slowly like tiny stars. It felt familiar, like a home she had never known, but remembered deep inside. The air was calm, warm, and alive with gentle energy. Even the trees seemed to lean toward her, welcoming her presence. The forest knew her. It remembered her. A faint sound reached her ears, a trickle of water, distant but clear. The stream she had seen last night called to her once more. She followed the soft, winding path, feeling her fear dissolve with every step. The forest seemed to guide her. The floating lights led the way. The moss glowed brighter, lighting the path. Then, ahead, she saw it, a bridge made of woven branches glowing faintly in the morning light. The same bridge she had crossed last night. She stepped onto it carefully. The mist below swirled slowly, shimmering in gentle blues and golds. The forest seemed to breathe beneath her feet, moving with her, alive. As she crossed, the whisper returned, not frightening, not urgent, but soft and comforting. You belong here, Sarah. The forest has waited for you. Her heart slowed. Her breathing became calm. Her mind quieted. For the first time, she felt a sense of belonging, a connection to something vast, timeless, and gentle. On the other side of the bridge, the forest opened into a new clearing. Sunlight streamed through the trees, creating patterns on the soft grass. A small pool of water reflected the sky, still and perfect. The floating lights gathered around the water, forming shapes, circles, lines, trails, softly guiding her to its edge. Sarah knelt beside the pool and touched the surface. The water was warm, almost like a gentle hug. Tiny ripples spread outward, shimmering with colors she had never seen before. Pale gold, soft violet, gentle turquoise. And then, inside the water, an image appeared. Not a reflection of herself, but a vision of the forest in all its magic. Glowing trees stretching toward the sky, streams that glimmered like liquid silver, floating lights that moved like stars in a calm night sky, paths winding deeper into mysteries she could not yet understand. A soft whisper floated over the water. The forest will guide you if you listen. Sarah smiled softly, feeling a warmth she hadn't felt in years. For the first time, the forest didn't feel like a threat. It felt like a home, a place of calm, a place of wonder. She stood up slowly, brushing her hands over the soft grass. And as she took the first step deeper into the glowing forest, the floating lights rose around her like tiny, patient companions. This was only the beginning. The forest had opened its arms, and Sarah had finally returned. She walked forward, step by step, into the heart of a world that waited just for her. Sarah walked slowly, each step soft on the glowing moss. The floating lights circled her, dancing in gentle patterns, almost like they were communicating. The forest was alive, but peaceful, alive in the way a dream can be alive, without danger, without fear. As she moved deeper, the trees grew taller, their trunks wider. Some were so old and thick, they seemed to have existed before the world itself. Vines hung from the branches, glowing faintly. Small flowers opened as she passed, releasing sparkling pollen that drifted through the air like tiny stars. She noticed something new, a soft hum. Not from the wind, not from the water. A melody, gentle and calming, flowing through the forest. The sound drew her toward a small clearing. There, she saw them. Creatures unlike anything she had imagined. Small, delicate beings, glowing faintly like living lanterns. Their wings shimmered like the surface of a bubble. They moved slowly, gracefully, tending to the flowers and vines. Each movement made a soft chime, a sound so gentle it could lull anyone into calm sleep. One of them noticed her. It floated closer, tilting its head. Its wings sparkled like dew in morning light. A soft voice spoke, not aloud, but inside her mind. "Welcome, Sarah. We have been waiting for you." Her heart felt warm. She had expected fear. Instead, there was only curiosity and calm. Who are you?" she whispered softly. "We are the guardians of the forest," it replied. "We watch, we protect, and we guide. You were meant to find us when the time came." Sarah knelt to get a closer look. The little guardian hovered near her face, studying her, as though it could see everything in her soul. Its glow pulsed gently, syncing with her heartbeat. You know me," she asked. "I don't understand. How do you know my name?" The tiny being's wings fluttered. A faint trail of glowing dust fell into the moss. This forest remembers. It remembers every step, every choice, every sorrow. You are part of its memory, part of its life. Sarah's mind swirled. The visions, the whispers, the shadow child, the stream, the bridge. It all made sense now. The forest hadn't been against her. It had been waiting for her to return. A soft ripple moved across the clearing. The water in a small pool began to glow, revealing more visions. Sarah leaned closer. Inside the pool, she saw glimpses of hidden paths, glowing caves, and trees that stretched higher than she could imagine. Floating islands hovered above, their roots entwined with the clouds. Light shimmered over waterfalls that fell upwards instead of down. The tiny guardian whispered again, "The forest will show you its secrets, if your heart remains calm, if your mind stays open." Sarah nodded slowly, a sense of peace settling over her. For the first time, she felt safe. For the first time, she felt that maybe, just maybe, she could understand this magical place. The little guardian hovered back. Its glow brightened for a moment, then dimmed. It pointed toward a path leading deeper into the forest. "This way, Sarah. Your journey is just beginning." And with that, Sarah took her first step into the deeper, glowing heart of the forest. The floating lights followed. The vines bent softly out of her way, and the gentle hum of the magical beings filled the air. Step by step, she walked forward toward a world of calm, wonder, and secrets that waited for her discovery. The path ahead twisted gently, lined with glowing moss and flowers that seemed to hum softly with life. The floating lights danced above her head, forming shapes that guided her steps. Sarah felt herself slowing, breathing in rhythm with the pulse of the forest. Ahead, the trees opened into a wide clearing. The air was warmer here, filled with soft, golden light that seemed to radiate from the forest itself. In the center of the clearing sat 3 figures. They were unlike the tiny guardians she had met before. Tall, elegant, and luminous, they seemed to be made of living light and flowing shadow. Their faces were serene, almost ageless. Eyes that shimmered like the surface of calm water watched her approach. The smallest guardian floated forward, hovering near Sarah's shoulder. Its voice rang softly in her mind. "These are the wise ones. They hold the memories of the forest. They know every path, every secret, every being that walks here." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling both awe and comfort. Her feet moved forward slowly, approaching the wise ones. One of them raised a hand. A soft glow spread from their palm, forming a gentle circle around Sarah. "We know why you have returned," the voice said. It was calm, deep, and full of warmth. "You seek him." Sarah's throat tightened. She whispered, almost inaudibly, "Daniel." The wise one nodded. "He is part of this forest now, not as he once was. But his memory lives here, in every stream, every tree, every breeze. He waits, and he calls for you." The ground beneath her feet shimmered. Images appeared softly in the moss. a small boy wandering through glowing streams, a shadow child guiding him through thick mist, a bridge that disappeared into the clouds. Sarah's heart ached. Her brother had been taken, yet preserved by this magical place, safe but trapped, waiting for her return. The second wise one leaned forward slightly. Its voice was softer, almost a whisper. The forest gives, the forest protects, but it also tests. You must be ready for what lies ahead. Sarah's mind raced. What test? What would she have to do? Was it even possible to bring him back? The third wise one, taller than the others, extended a hand toward the clearing beyond. Follow the path of light. Listen to the whispers of the streams and the rustle of the leaves. They will guide you closer to him. Sarah felt a calm certainty wash over her. Her fear was still there, but it no longer held her in its grip. She was ready to follow the forest, step by step. The floating lights formed a line in front of her, illuminating the next stretch of the path. The small guardians fluttered nearby, keeping pace, and the wise ones watched silently, their presence comforting, almost like a promise. Sarah took a deep breath and stepped forward. The path curved gently into thicker trees. Glowing flowers opened as she passed. The air was filled with a soft, melodic hum, the song of the forest itself. Step by step, she moved deeper into the heart of the magical world. And somewhere ahead, in the shimmer of mist and the glow of light, she could feel him, Daniel, waiting, calling.